Hi everyone, it's the Pumpkin Princess 13, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Ninja Turtle out of pipe cleaners. This should be the end result when we are finished. As you can see, here's my Leonardo, my Raphael, my Donatello, and my Michelangelo. Now, in the tutorial today, I'm going to be making a Leonardo. I know I've already made one, but this one I made a light blue mask, and this one I'm going to make a darker blue mask, like in the newer series. But of course, the steps are pretty much the same for any turtle. It's just the mask color can be different, but it's not very hard to put on there, and I will show you that fairly soon. So what you are going to need are, as far as pipe cleaners go, you are going to need 2 light green pipe cleaners. One will be for the body, the other will be for the head. You're going to need a dark green pipe cleaner. That will be for the shell. Be 1 yellow pipe cleaner, that will be for the chest. 1 black pipe cleaner, that will be used for the eyes, or if you don't want to use pipe cleaner for the eyes, you can also use 2 small beads, which I would actually recommend because it's a bit easier to put on. And that will also make the belt and the weapons. And 1 pipe cleaner of your mask color. In this case, I'm doing dark blue for Leonardo. So and you will also need 1 pair of scissors or wire cutters, just whichever you prefer. So as soon as I get set up, we will get started on making Leonardo. Okay, let's get started on making our pipe cleaner Ninja Turtle. So first, what you're going to need is your first light green pipe cleaner. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half, like this. Make sure the ends are as even as possible. So one end will be folded, the other end has 2 separate ends. So what you're going to do with those is you're going to twist them together, but just a little bit. You don't want to do it too much because this will end up being the neck. Okay, and after you got that twisted, we're going to set it straight up like this. And we're going to take the end that we folded and fold it up to the base of the neck. And once you fold it, you should have 2 ends like this. And one end you're going to fold up to line up with the base of the neck, like we just did. And you will do the same thing for the other side. So once you have that, if you turn it sideways and you split it apart, you're going to get 2 more ends, and that is going to be making the arms and the legs. So just turn it to the side, fold it out like that, and then spread them out. And the neck, you're going to fold back like this. And flip that upside down. And this is making the arms and the legs. Eventually you're kind of making a star shape. And then just adjust the body as needed. So in the end it should look something like this. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our yellow pipe cleaner and we're going to start wrapping it around the middle right here. And we're going to wrap it around about 3 times. So if you just take a little bit, kind of fold it around already. See, it was my first wrap right there. So I can just go 2 and 3. You come back to the middle. We're going to start kind of weaving over and under on the body. And we're going to go over the shoulder and under the legs. So we're going to go over one shoulder and under the legs. And then we'll come back up and we'll go over the other shoulder and back under the legs. And you'll keep doing that until you run out of pipe cleaner. make sure when you're doing this it's tight, because if you don't, it'll look really sloppy. And nobody wants that. Okay, so now I don't have enough to completely wrap around, but what I'm going to do instead is just kind of slip it into the back. But if you don't want to deal with that, you can also just cut it off. Alright, that should do it. Now just pick a side, whichever one you think looks best. I'm going to choose this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the hands and the feet. So we're just going to kind of spread these out just a little bit. You don't want to do it too much. Some of them might already be kind of spread out. And just adjust everything as you want. And we're going to take the end and bend it. And that makes a hand. Bend the other one, that makes a hand. Bend that, makes a foot. And bend the other one, makes the other foot. So it should look like this so far. Okay, now what we're going to do, I'm going to put the body down, and we are going to make the shell. So you're going to need your dark green pipe cleaner, and we're just going to start making a big swirl. So take one end, whichever end, it doesn't matter, and just start making a swirl. Just kind of wrap it around itself and make sure it's tight. As tight as you can possibly make it. And we're going to keep doing this until we get to about the end of the pipe cleaner. And then I'll explain what we need to do after that. Just kind of keep adjusting as you go, because some of it will start to get loose. You may need to just push it together a little bit. Okay, so now we've about reached the end. Got a little bit left. We need that because we are going to take the shell to the back and take that extra piece to the front. And we're going to wrap this extra piece around the bottom of the neck. So that way, on the back, you have a shell. Now, you can leave it, or I like to kind of push the shell kind of into the back, so that way it makes it a bit more three-dimensional and it stays in place better. So, kind of like that. So now we're going to come back to the front, and we are going to make the head. So you'll need your second light green pipe cleaner. I'm going to start at the bottom, kind of about the same place we wrapped the shell around, and we are going to wrap this around the bottom just to get a starter, and we are going to wrap the rest of the pipe cleaner around a little loose. You don't want it going too loose, but we're going to kind of round it out and make a head. Kind of keep going up and down with the pipe cleaner. Like I said, you can make it loose, just not too loose, because we don't want the head slipping off. And there we have our head. So now we are going to work on the mask. So get your mask color, whatever it is, in my case it's blue, and take off about 1/4 of that color, something like that, and then take your body and take the mask and kind of put it around the head, so that way you can kind of get an idea of where it's going to sit. And also we're getting an idea for where the eyes are going to be. Now if you have the black beads, all you need to do is just slide them in and leave a small space in between, so that way the eyes don't look like they're right next to each other. But since I don't have that, I'm going to make my eyes out of pipe cleaner. So if you don't have beads, or you just don't want to use beads, we are going to cut off a very small amount of black, maybe just about the length of your pointer finger. And cut 2 of those. Or you can do 1 at a time, whichever works for you. Okay, and we're going to go about that curve that we made. I'm going to put 1 here, kind of on the side. We're going to wrap that around as tightly as we possibly can. And make sure there's going to be a little bit of like side to side, but try to keep it in one centered spot as much as you possibly can, because we don't want the eyes to be too big. So we now have 1 eye finished, and we're going to do the same for the other side. Just wrap it as tight as you possibly can and keep it in the center as much as you can. Okay, now those 2 black dots will be the eyes. So we're going to take where our head was, and we're going to kind of line it up with where we think the eye should go. Kind of hold that in place with your thumb. And then we're going to take the back of it, and we're going to wrap it, just kind of twist it back here, just enough to keep it snug in place. And then we're going to take our bandana pieces in the back, and we'll put them on the side, so it kind of gives it that flowing bandana effect, like this. Alright, so now we're almost finished. All we need to do now is make the belt and the weapons. So for the belt, you're going to take that same black pipe cleaner you had, and we are going to wrap it around about the center of the body, like where we started our chest. So just wrap it all the way around, including the back where the shell is. And when you think you've got it wrapped around enough, maybe cut just a little more off and finish that off. And then just adjust the belt as needed, wherever you want it to sit on your turtle. And now Leonardo has a belt. And so the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I will cut back to the 4 turtles I've already made, and I will explain how I made each of the weapons. But here you already have your turtle. Okay, so I'm now back with my 4 original turtles that I already made, and I'm going to explain how I did each of their weapons. For Leonardo's swords, all I did is I cut off a fairly small piece, maybe about 1 inch, to make the longer part right here, and then I made maybe about half of that to make the handles, and I just kind of wrapped it around, made sure both sides were even. And then I took the handle part and stuck it into his hands, and then I squeezed the hand like this, so that way he could actually hold the swords in place and they wouldn't get loose. Raphael's size were about the same process, except the longer piece was a little smaller, and I made the same size for this, and I just wrap it around the same way and squeeze the hands so you can hold them in place. Donatello's is probably the easiest, because you just take a longer piece of your preferred color for your weapon, you slide it into his hand, and you squeeze so you can hold it in place. And for Michelangelo, I did maybe about 1/4 of a black pipe cleaner. I bended both ends so you kind of get the larger ends, and I bended it in the middle, so when I put them into his hands, one is pointed up and one is pointed down, so it kind of looks like he's spinning them around. So hopefully this tutorial helped. Hope you have fun making your own Ninja Turtles out of pipe cleaners, and thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions, just put that in the comments and let me know. I'll do my best to try to make any more characters that you might be interested in. And we'll see you next time.